Hi there, this is Eric Daniels, Helendale principal.
Hi, I'm Lucas Hiley. I'm the principal of Ivan Green. Mr. Daniels and I are going to talk a little bit about the schedules for arrival and dismissal at our primary schools. So we have adjusted our arrival time for 9 o'clock, or our school day is from 9 to 3:30. So buses will drop at 9 o'clock. At the same time, we will accommodate drop-offs for and walking students. Unfortunately, we're not able to accommodate students who arrive early as we have been in the past. We are really trying not to congregate at the doors or around the buses. So you may consider reaching out to our Y site-based programs to see if they are offering services at this time.
The instructional day will end at 3:15, which is different, as Lucas said. The instruction, quote unquote, should end at 3:15, which means students will be working up and through that time. Walkers, pickups, students who will be picked up will be dismissed at 3:20. And then buses will be dismissed at 3:30. And please keep in mind that as we start, that there will be glitches, there will be delays, but we look forward to everyone being positive so that we can get our kids out of school in a reasonable fashion.
Both Helendale Road and Ivan Green School have changed our procedures for arrival in the morning in order to adhere to all the guidance from the CDC and Monroe County Department of Health. So there are some changes, and they are specific to each of our locations. So we will have further communication specifically to our families that come to each of our schools. But generally speaking, students, when they arrive, like we said, they're not going to be able to gather. So instead, they will come in one at a time. We'll keep them spaced. Students would be able to grab a grab-and-go breakfast, or in some cases, they'll be delivered to students right in classrooms in the primary schools. And so they'll eat their breakfasts at their classroom, at their seat, socially distant from peers.
So as it relates to student dismissal, students who are being picked up will be dismissed first, as we've done in the past. We do this in order to empty the building of students that are not taking the bus, and that students getting to the bus will have least interaction with other students exiting to the buses.
Both schools are using different exits and different entrances depending on how you arrive at school. So students who come and go on bus are using one set of doors, where students who are being picked up and dropped off are using another set of doors. You will be receiving specific information from either me or Mr. Daniels regarding the specific procedures for each school.
So if your student is coming to school late for whatever reason, missed the bus, doctor's appointment, parents or guardians will be expected to call the main office to answer 3 screening questions regarding to their child and your health. When you arrive at school, you'll be buzzed into the main entrance, the lobby, where you'll sign your student in, and your student will go directly to their classroom. Again, as in the past, adults, parents will not be allowed to go down to classrooms. One family at a time will be allowed in the foyer so as to continue social distancing. As it relates to early dismissal, if you need to come in to pick up your child for an appointment, for any reason, we will again ask you to call the main office to answer the 3 screening questions, and then you'll be buzzed into the foyer. And again, adults, anyone visiting to the school in any way, must be wearing masks. They are mandatory. We'll ask you in both buildings to show your ID through the glass in the foyer area. And when your student arrives to be let out of school, we'll again ask you to sign out on the clipboard in the main lobby. And again, as always, one family in the foyer at a time, in case there are multiple families that arrive.
One of the things that feels contrary to being in a primary school is that we really need to limit our visitors who are able to come and go. So it is really going to be kind of hard for us to not allow you into the school or into classrooms for celebrations. But if we are adhering to social distancing guidelines and all of the regs from the CDC, this is something that we're feeling like we really need to enforce. Like I said, we will limit visitors, including parents. There are some occasions that visitors have to come into the building, so maybe it's a contractor to fix a copier or something. They will have to adhere to the same guidelines. They'll take the screening questions, they will have to have a mask, and they will practice good hand hygiene.
So as it relates to frequently asked questions, all students will eat both breakfast and lunch in their classroom.
All students in all of our schools will be required to wear a mask at all times, with the exception of when they're eating, of course, and during scheduled mask breaks. So we're in the process of defining what a mask break will look like and how long it will last and how often they will happen so that that experience is developmentally appropriate and consistent from building to building.
Students receiving special area classes, the teachers will be pushing into the classroom for them, with the exception of phys ed.
The reason for that is the guidelines have asked us to cohort students whenever possible, so we're really committed to keeping students together in the classrooms in the same space that they're used to.
Something different that we really need to adhere to, because many of our classrooms do not have bathrooms in them, will be scheduled times for students to go to the bathroom. Also, hand washing at specific times, multiple times throughout the day, will be mandatory.
Students will have explicit instruction around how to get used to these new procedures. Everything from wearing a mask to how to go to the bathroom and how to transition through the hallways. Everything will be a little bit different, but we're confident that our kids can learn to do it and do it safely.
Students will be given water bottles from the district with the new bottle filling stations throughout the building for touchless water points. And again, we'd only ask you that with any materials, or whether it's masks or water bottles, that your child's name is put on them so that we know which item belongs to which student.
We're also committed to providing each student with 2 cloth masks and a lanyard that they can wear around their necks with 2 clips that can secure the mask. Hopefully we'll lose less masks that way.
And students will be given bus card backpack clips so that when students are exiting, especially our little ones, we will be easily able to identify which bus they need to get to at dismissal. And so for the most up-to-date information as we see things change on a daily basis, we would encourage everyone to visit eastiron.org to see the most current and accurate information related to reopening school.